I never thought I'd be writing one of these posts. My wife Alicia and I have been married for 12 years, together for 15. We have 2 beautiful kids, aged 8 and 10. I thought we had the perfect life, a nice home in the suburbs, good careers. I'm in software development, she's a marketing executive, and what I believed was a rock-solid marriage. My friend, Jake, has been in our lives for about a decade. We met through a recreational soccer league, and he quickly became part of our friend group. He was always at our BBQs, joined our family camping trips, and even spent holidays with us when he wasn't visiting his own family. I considered him one of my closest friends. Looking back, there were signs I should have noticed. Alicia would light up when Jake entered the room. They had inside jokes I wasn't privy to. She'd volunteered to pick him up from the airport when he returned from business trips. But I trusted both of them completely. I never imagined they would betray me in the worst possible way. The discovery happened purely by accident. Alicia had been having issues with her laptop, so she'd been using mine for work. One night, she forgot to log out of her email. I needed to check something for my job and found her account still open. I was about to close it when I noticed an email thread with Jake, with the subject line, "Miss you already." My stomach dropped. I shouldn't have opened it, but something in my gut told me I needed to see what was there. The emails were explicit, detailing their encounters and plans for future meetups. There were references to hotel rooms, secret vacations disguised as work trips, and worse, discussions about how they managed to fool me for so long. According to the emails, their affair had been going on for almost 3 years. 3 years. They met whenever I was out of town for work, which happened frequently due to my job. Jake would come over to keep Alicia company while I was gone. My kids even knew about these visits. They just thought Jake was being a good friend to both of us. I felt physically ill. I couldn't breathe. Everything I thought I knew about my life came crashing down in that moment. But instead of confronting Alicia immediately, I decided to gather more evidence. I needed to understand the full scope of their betrayal. Over the next 2 weeks, I played the role of the oblivious husband perfectly. Meanwhile, I dug deeper into her emails, found text messages they'd exchanged on our shared cloud account, and even discovered hidden photos they'd sent each other. I learned they had a system. They used a messaging app that allowed messages to be deleted automatically after being read. But Jake had gotten sloppy. He'd saved screenshots of some of their conversations, which were synced to his cloud storage that was still connected to an old shared album from a group vacation. There it was, the evidence of their affair, spanning years, in shocking detail. I wasn't just angry. I was devastated, humiliated, and completely broken. But through my pain, a plan began to form. I spent the next week meticulously documenting everything. I downloaded all their messages, saved the photos, as disgusting as it was to look at them, and created a timeline of their affair. I hired a private investigator who confirmed they were still meeting regularly at a hotel downtown. The PI provided me with photos of them entering and leaving the hotel together, holding hands when they thought nobody was watching. I consulted with a divorce attorney who advised me on how to protect myself financially. I moved half our savings into a separate account, gathered all our financial documents, and made copies of everything important. I wasn't going to let Alicia take me for everything I had after betraying me so thoroughly. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal around the kids. I smiled through dinner, helped with homework, and managed to keep my composure even when Alicia would get text messages and smile at her phone. Each time, I knew it was probably Jake, and it took everything in me not to grab her phone and confront her on the spot. I decided to expose them at our upcoming anniversary party. We had planned a big celebration at our home with about 50 guests, family, friends, colleagues. Jake had even volunteered to help with the preparations, the shameless bastard. The party was in 2 days, and everything was ready for my grand reveal. The night before the party, Alicia told me she needed to run to the store for last-minute supplies. I tracked her phone and saw she went straight to Jake's apartment. This was it, the final confirmation I needed. While she was gone, I finalized my preparations. I printed hundreds of pages of their conversations and arranged them chronologically. I created large poster boards with timeline highlights of their affair, including photos from the PI. I set up a projector in our living room that would display their explicit messages on a loop. Each guest would receive a folder containing a summary of the affair with supporting evidence. It was excessive, perhaps cruel, but I wanted them to feel the full weight of their betrayal. The day of the party arrived. Guests started showing up around 4 p.m. Jake arrived early, helping set up chairs in the backyard, acting like the devoted friend. Alicia was busy in the kitchen, occasionally exchanging glances with Jake when they thought I wasn't looking. My parents arrived, then her parents, our siblings, friends from work, neighbors, all the people who had been part of our lives. At 6 p.m., I asked everyone to gather in the living room for a toast. The folders were hidden under each seat. The projector was ready behind a curtain. Jake stood near Alicia, both of them smiling, completely unaware of what was about to happen. I want to thank everyone for coming to celebrate our anniversary. I began, my voice surprisingly steady. 15 years together, 12 years married. It's been quite a journey. Alicia smiled at me, and for a second, I almost lost my nerve. But then I remembered all those messages, the lies, the betrayal. I've recently made a discovery about my marriage that I'd like to share with all of you, I continued. If you could all reach under your seats, you'll find something interesting. Confused murmurs filled the room as people retrieved the folders. Alicia's smile faltered. Jake shifted uncomfortably, sensing something was wrong. What's this? Alicia asked, trying to maintain her composure as she opened her own folder. That, I said, pulling back the curtain to reveal the first projected message, is the truth about our marriage. The room fell silent as guests began reading through the folders. On the wall, messages between Jake and Alicia flashed by, date stamps, explicit content, plans they'd made behind my back. I watched as shock, disbelief, and disgust spread across the faces of our friends and family. What the hell is this? Jake shouted, his face turning crimson. He lunged toward the projector, but my brother intercepted him. Alicia stood frozen, her eyes darting between the projection, the horrified faces of our guests, and me. This is private, she finally stammered. How could you? Private? I cut her off, my voice eerily calm. Like our marriage was supposed to be? Like our friendship with Jake was supposed to be? I turned to address the room. For 3 years, my wife and my best friend have been carrying on an affair behind my back. They've lied to me, to our children, to all of you. Alicia's parents looked devastated. Her father couldn't even look at her. My mother was openly weeping while my father put his arm around her, his face a mask of controlled fury. Mark, please, Alicia begged, tears streaming down her face. Not like this. We can talk about this privately. Like you talked about me privately? I replied, clicking to the next slide, screenshots where they mocked me, laughed about how oblivious I was. You've had 3 years of privacy. Now it's time for honesty. Jake made a break for the door, but several of our friends, former friends of his too, blocked his exit. You coward, one of them spat. You don't understand, Jake protested weakly. It just happened. We never meant to hurt anyone. It just happened for 3 years? I asked incredulously. Through hundreds of lies? Through family vacations where you sat across from me at dinner after sleeping with my wife. Several guests had walked out already, unable to bear the tension. Others stayed, perhaps out of loyalty to me, perhaps unable to look away from the unfolding disaster. Alicia sank into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably as her sister tried to comfort her, though I could see the disappointment in her eyes. I've filed for divorce, I announced. I have custody arrangements prepared that allow Alicia to remain in our children's lives, despite her betrayal. They're with my parents tonight, thankfully spared from witnessing this. Where will you go? Someone asked. I've rented an apartment. I move out tomorrow, I replied. I may have lost my wife and my friend, but I haven't lost my dignity. I turned off the projector and addressed the stunned crowd. I apologize for ruining what should have been a celebration. Those who want to stay are welcome to. There's plenty of food and drink. Those who wish to leave, I understand completely. To my surprise, nearly everyone stayed, except for Jake, who slipped out amid the commotion, and Alicia, who was escorted upstairs by her sister. What was meant to be an anniversary party turned into an impromptu support gathering. Friends embraced me, colleagues offered couches to sleep on, and Alicia's own brother told me he was ashamed of her behavior. The aftermath wasn't easy. The divorce was messy despite my preparation. Alicia tried to paint me as vindictive and cruel for the public exposure. But with so many witnesses and the evidence I'd gathered, she had little ground to stand on. Jake moved to another state, his reputation in our social circle destroyed. He sent a lengthy apology email months later that I deleted without reading. Alicia and I now communicate only about the children. She's dating someone new already, not Jake. Apparently, their relationship couldn't survive the light of day. It's been a year since that night. I'm still healing, still rebuilding. But I don't regret exposing them. Sometimes, the only way through betrayal is to shine a light so bright that no shadow of doubt remains. As for me, I'm taking it one day at a time, focusing on being the best father I can be. Trust doesn't come easily anymore, but I'm learning that not everyone is capable of such deception. And in that knowledge, there's a strange kind of comfort.